Headlines scream of opulence. The world's media can't get enough of the spectacle. Front pages filled with stories of fortunes made and lives of luxury, painting a picture of a nation where prosperity knows no bounds. Luxembourg, the richest country on earth. A per capita paradise, where the skyline glitters with modernity and the streets pulse with the quiet confidence of wealth. Here, every corner seems to whisper tales of financial triumph. Sleek sedans glide past the Grand Ducal Palace and glass bank towers, symbols of a nation that has mastered the art of affluence. The hum of engines and the gleam of polished metal are everyday sights, blending old-world royalty with new-world riches. Diamond-studded watches glitter in boutique windows, their price tags out of reach for most. Behind the glass, luxury is on full display, an invitation to dream, but a reminder of exclusivity. This is the Luxembourg. The world knows, a tiny nation, a giant of finance humming with the energy of money. Its banks are legendary, its reputation for stability and secrecy unmatched. Private jets descend onto immaculate runways. Billion-euro deals are sealed over gourmet meals in glass-walled restaurants, and the country's GDP per capita tops global charts. Here, the flow of capital is as constant as the flow of fine wine. To outsiders, Luxembourg appears as a perfectly functioning machine, a model of prosperity and order. Streets are spotless, neighborhoods are manicured, and everything seems to run with clockwork precision. The narrative is simple: everyone is rich, the streets are pristine, and the parks are flawless. It's a postcard image, carefully curated and endlessly repeated. But every gilded cage has bars. The gold may shine, but it also conceals what lies beneath. Beyond the polished veneer, a different reality is taking hold. In the shadows of glass towers, cracks begin to show, literal and metaphorical. The foundations of this paradise are showing cracks. Infrastructure strains under the weight of rapid growth, and not everyone shares in the bounty. The story of endless wealth is starting to unravel. For some, the dream is slipping further away, replaced by anxiety and uncertainty. For many residents, daily life is not opulent or easy. The cost of living soars, and the gap between the haves and have-nots widens with each passing year. It's a story of struggle and quiet desperation. Behind closed doors, families worry about rent, about jobs, about a future that feels increasingly out of reach. The forbidden secret of Luxembourg isn't about its wealth, but about who is being left behind. Immigrant workers, young families, and the elderly, many find themselves on the outside looking in. The world sees a kingdom of riches, a beacon of European success, but the golden glow hides the shadows that stretch across the city. But look closer, and you'll see the bars behind the gold. The wealth is real, but so are the boundaries it creates. This is the untold story of the richest country on earth, a story not just of fortune, but of the invisible lines that divide, and the people who live in their shadow. In Luxembourg, food banks have become a lifeline for people you might not expect, those with full-time jobs. Nurses, construction workers, retail staff, and countless others now rely on these services just to get by. These are people who work hard every day, contribute to society, and pay their taxes. Yet, despite their dedication, their salaries simply can't keep up with the relentless and ever-increasing cost of living. Each month, their paychecks seem to vanish almost instantly, devoured by sky-high rent, soaring grocery bills, and basic necessities that now feel like luxuries. The dream of a stable middle-class life, a comfortable home, a little savings, maybe a family holiday, is slipping further and further out of reach for many. Even those with university degrees and steady employment find themselves falling behind, unable to build the future they once imagined. The social safety net, once a source of security, is now stretched dangerously thin. For many, the struggle to make ends meet is a silent battle, hidden behind closed doors and drawn curtains. Families are forced to squeeze into cramped apartments, sacrificing privacy and comfort. Young professionals unable to afford their own place share housing well into their 30s, postponing independence. The psychological toll is immense: constant stress, anxiety about the future, and the crushing reality of having no savings or ability to plan ahead. Dreams are put on hold, and hope can feel out of reach. Despite Luxembourg's reputation for prosperity and wealth, this success is not shared by all. The powerful engine of wealth continues to generate fortunes for a select few, while ordinary people are left to shoulder the burden and pay the price. Behind the glittering facade of the city, a deep and growing social crisis is unfolding, one that threatens the very fabric of society. The media paints Luxembourg as a billionaire's playground, a nation without problems. But for residents, this image is a cruel joke. Official statistics are skewed by a wealthy elite, masking the reality for most. Help-wanted signs abound, not for lack of workers, but because wages can't support a decent life. The disconnect between perception and reality breeds alienation and resentment. Struggling to pay rent while reading about paradise makes people feel invisible. The contrast is stark. Private banks on one street, social services queues on the next. A Porsche dealership opens as charity shops fill up. There are two Luxembourgs, one of global headlines, one of daily struggle. The world sees wealth, the people live anxiety. The real story is hidden in plain sight. Luxembourg's rise as a financial titan was no accident. When the steel industry collapsed in the 1970s, leaders pivoted to finance. Banking secrecy laws, low taxes, and political stability attracted global capital. The skyline changed. Smokestacks gave way to glass towers. Immense wealth followed, funding top-tier infrastructure and public services. But this new economy concentrated riches among a few, driving up costs for all. The old industrial South declined, while finance jobs required skills many didn't have. A powerful elite emerged, leaving a large segment of the population behind. The transformation created winners and many losers. Nowhere is Luxembourg's crisis clearer than in its housing market. Home ownership is out of reach for most. Even modest homes cost over €1 million. Rents swallow more than half of many salaries, trapping people in cramped spaces or endless commutes. Homelessness is rising, shelters are full, and even full-time workers can't find affordable housing. The human cost is immense. Instability, stress, and families unable to put down roots. Neighborhoods change as locals are pushed out by high-earning expats. The crisis isn't a market fluke, it's systemic failure. Land speculation and slow government response have fueled the problem. Housing inequality is now Luxembourg's greatest divide. The dream of stability has become a daily struggle for survival. Luxembourg's housing crisis is the result of decades of policy favoring landowners. A small group controls most buildable land, hoarding it as a speculative asset. Low taxes on undeveloped land and minimal capital gains encouraged waiting, not building. Attempts at reform face fierce resistance from powerful interests. The result, a system where public need is sacrificed for private profit. Property owners grow richer, everyone else faces rising rents and fading dreams. The government's failure to act deepens the divide. The housing crisis is a choice, one that benefits the few at the expense of the many. Nearly half of Luxembourg's workforce commutes from France, Belgium, and Germany. These cross-border workers are essential: nurses, builders, cashiers, but can't afford to live in the country they serve. They endure long commutes for higher pay, but rising costs erode those gains. Excluded from housing and political life, they're both insiders and outsiders. Their voices are absent from national debates, despite powering the economy. Employers benefit, but workers bear the burden. As costs rise, the trade-off is less appealing. If cross-border workers leave, Luxembourg's economic model is at risk. They are a daily reminder of the country's failure to build an inclusive society. Economic pressures are splitting Luxembourg in two. The global elite live in comfort, insulated from daily struggles. Long-term residents and immigrants feel excluded, watching their communities change and costs soar. The divide isn't just about money, it's about belonging. Populist resentment grows as people question who the economy really serves. The government's focus on foreign wealth erodes trust and national identity. The social contract is fraying. If this is the richest country, why are so many struggling? Prosperity is fragile when people feel the system is rigged against them. Luxembourg stands at a crossroads, facing a pivotal decision that will shape its future for generations. Will it continue down a path where inequality grows, or will it choose bold, visionary reform to create a more inclusive society? The choices made today will echo for decades, determining whether Luxembourg becomes a model of fairness or a cautionary tale of missed opportunity. The nation must move beyond simply measuring success by GDP. True progress means embracing well-being, shared prosperity, and a society where everyone can thrive. It's time to redefine what it means to be wealthy, not just in material terms, but in quality of life, happiness, and opportunity for all citizens. The first and most urgent step is to tackle the housing crisis head-on. Skyrocketing rents and home prices have put decent living out of reach for too many families, threatening the social fabric and future stability of the country. Luxembourg must tax undeveloped land to discourage speculation, empower municipalities to act decisively, and launch a massive public housing program that ensures everyone has a safe, affordable place to call home. These reforms can lay the foundation for a more just society. Housing must be recognized as a fundamental right, not treated as a speculative asset for profit. When people have secure homes, communities flourish and children have a real chance to succeed. To secure the future, Luxembourg must diversify its economy, investing boldly in technology, green energy, and world-class education. These investments will create new opportunities, good jobs, and a resilient economy that benefits everyone, not just a privileged few. Closing the gap between local schools and elite international institutions is essential. Every child, regardless of background, deserves access to high-quality education that opens doors and promotes true social mobility. Luxembourg must also rethink its cross-border worker model. By co-investing with neighboring countries in modern transport and affordable housing, the nation can build a more sustainable, integrated future for all who live and work here. The country must see itself as part of a larger European community, sharing responsibility, opportunity, and prosperity with its neighbors. Only together can we address the challenges of our time. Luxembourg has reinvented itself before, transforming from an industrial powerhouse to a global financial center. That same spirit of innovation and resilience is needed now more than ever. Today, the nation faces a new challenge: to transform from a capital of wealth into a beacon of justice, inclusion, and shared prosperity. The world is watching to see if Luxembourg can lead by example once again. The future depends on who gets to share in Luxembourg's prosperity. By choosing well-being over mere wealth, the country can ensure that every resident has a stake in its success, and that no one is left behind.